Greetings, everyone. Namaste. Hey, we're live. Live from New York City. No, not really. Live from the beautiful West Coast of the United States of America, the continental United States. Hey, my name is Dana, and I just wanted to do a few quick videos. Basically, keep them really short and sweet, under 10 minutes. And the last time, my last video, I shared something having to do with the environment and the book Conversations with God, first book, book one, which I found was really helpful for me. And so it does talk about some of the things that I was mentioning in my last video, and that was like 20 years ago. And I just been watching some videos recently on YouTube about the environmental pollution we're facing right now, which is mostly plastic and things like that, which we're producing in, I don't know how many tons it is per year every year, and that is expected to increase, maybe because the increase in population. I'm not sure, but I would say it's probably more in production. However, the good news is that it is being cleaned up. There are several very what's the word? Advantageous? No. Courageous? No. I can't think of the word, but anyway, there are several companies out there right now that are cleaning up the oceans and the rivers. Usually it comes, like in Baltimore, they're saying that it usually begins in the streets and someplace on land, but then when it rains, it washes down into the rivers and the oceans. So that's where it's actually coming from. And so what I would say is that is a great start, because it is a big problem. There's over 50 rivers around around the world now that are polluted with plastic and trash and things, as I've been talking about, and one of them is Guatemala. When I was in the military 40 years ago, there was a river in what they call Subic Bay in the Philippines, and basically was a river where everything went in, even including their what's that called? Human waste. So as you crossed the river, it was quite smelly, and it was a mess. So anyway, I'm just really happy to hear that people are actually taking some action to clean up the oceans and the rivers. It is important to me. The environment is critical. It sustains us. One of the things we don't realize, that this planet that we're living on is actually a living, breathing creature. It's a living, breathing entity, being just like us. That may be hard to understand at first, but is in fact true. So if we keep polluting the planet, we're actually polluting the environment that sustains us, that actually keeps us alive. It doesn't make sense. It's actually counterproductive to keep producing, first of all, producing so much waste, plastic and chemicals and everything, and dumping them into the environment that's actually keeping us alive for now. Hopefully, I think it's by the grace of God that we are still alive, because there has been so much pollution, nuclear waste, like Fukushima, I think it is, in Japan, and then the nuclear reactor in Russia. And so this is just, I guess you might say, the tip of the iceberg. But fortunately, humanity is starting to realize how critical it is to have a clean environment. So I just wanted to follow up from my last video and say the good news that people are actually starting to clean things up. So that's great. And thank you for your participation. I think where it really begins, and what I learned myself from the way I live my life, first of all, by not buying fast food. I don't think I've eaten out at McDonald's for probably 25 years. And that includes all fast food restaurants. Probably for about 25 years, I have not eaten out at any of those places. And now, as far as eating at restaurants locally, we have actually a lot of good ones, fortunately, and even many of them I do not eat at, only maybe once a month or something. So I primarily cook everything at home, and that's the way to actually prevent more waste from going into the environment, because you're not buying packaged goods like you find at Albertsons, Safeway, Acme, I think it is on the East Coast, all of these chain food stores that have packaged a lot of things in plastic. So, you know, everything that we throw in a trash or landfill, everything that we use is going to wind up in a landfill or a river or an ocean. So keep that in mind. If that's something you want to do, I encourage you to do it, and love for you to start changing your lifestyle, because it takes all of us to make a difference. And actually, it does begin with us, ourselves too, just one individual like myself. And those of you out there that I'm sure are taking the same kind of, steps and changing their lifestyles is also making a difference. So thank you for your part. Thank you very much. It's all really important. And so I thought about what I wanted to talk about today, and I was going over different things. I've read so many books over the past several years, probably about 1,000 different books, and I don't find it, let's see, I haven't made it a habit to go from book to book to book, like I have to keep reading the next book, even though I did read like that for a while. So now I've just really decided, after giving books away for the past 15 years, literally giving them away and just downsizing to just a few of my favorite ones, and literally having to constantly keep cleaning out my apartment and doing a lot of organizing, and it's been really beneficial. So now I only have a few of my favorite ones, which I really love, and I find that is the most helpful for me, is to concentrate on the few that I really like and not have to keep searching outside for another book or the next bestseller, which there are plenty of, I will say. There are so many great teachers and authors on the planet right now that are writing some phenomenal books, so if that's what you enjoy, by all means, go for it. I just find after a while you can narrow it down to just a few of them and just keep rereading them. That's the most important thing, is just repetition of reading something you find that really works for you. And so back to what I wanted to talk about today, is I thought relationships was a great topic. We're all in relationships, every one of us, even if you're not in like a so-called romantic relationship, or you're not married or living with someone as a partner, or lover, whatever you want to call them. We are still every day, all day, in relationships with people, whether it be the dry cleaner, the person at the post office, where we get our mail, where we get our food, the grocery stores, all the places that we go every single day. We are in relationships with people at the bank, so I find that that was actually one of the most difficult areas for me, is relationships with other people, because I realized my relationship with myself was not very healthy, and that's what I've been working on for the past several years, is relating to myself in a more healthy way, in a more holistic way, and more honest way. And so now I've realized, no matter who I communicate with, it is some form of relationship, and the more that I am, how can I say it, transparent with myself, honest with myself, and true to myself, the more I can be transparent, honest, and true to someone else. And it really is the most healthy way to relate to anyone in your life. So if we're in a relationship and we feel like maybe a bit controlling, which we all have a little bit of this controlling behavior, that we've learned. It's not necessarily something that we really grow up and say, I'm going to be a controlling person. These behaviors really are learned behaviors mostly, and over many, many years. And the other thing I discovered with myself is being judgmental, is judging myself and judging other people. And that is a really unhealthy way to live. So that's another reason why I've taken a lot of time in solitude to really be with myself and do a lot of my own transformation to move past that. And I can honestly say that I've come a long way. I haven't exactly perfected it, and I probably won't ever reach perfection. However, you do come to a place in your life where you can relate to people in a lot, in a much more healthy, transparent way. I find it's the only way to live because, we can't really give anything to anyone else that we can't give to ourselves. So if we can't be honest with ourselves or transparent with ourselves or honest with ourselves, then we definitely can't be transparent or honest with anyone else. We just can't give anyone else anything that we can't give to ourselves. That's really the best way to think of a relationship. So and I find that also really begins another thing with relationships is forgiveness, right? Like Jesus said in the New Testament, forgive 70 times 7. And that to me was a great example, but it's really also just kind of like to me, a beginning number. 70 times 7, I think, is 140 or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is. Anyway, I think you'll find through your life that forgiveness is an ongoing thing. It's really endless in some ways. There's always an opportunity. I say an opportunity to forgive. And I would also say that begins with ourselves, is forgiving ourselves. Say, for example, you went to the gas station and a tenant was really stressed out, and there's like one or two guys and they're working 10 pumps and they're really stressed out, and they kind of, they're really rude and they're in a hurry, and you get perturbed with them or even angry or whatever. So you reacted in a way you didn't want to react. It just happened, but it's okay. We all do it. So that's where forgiveness comes in. It's really important to learn and practice forgiveness on ourselves first, and then we can offer that forgiveness to other people. And it really is something that we cultivate and develop. And again, there's always opportunity to put this into practice. So I'm sure you figured that out in your life. So I just wanted to share some of those things. And some of you may be wondering, why is he making these videos? What's your intention? And I had to ask that question to myself. What's my intention in making these videos? And one of the things is, first, I'm a bit camera shy. And I wanted to be able to talk in front of people comfortably. And I will say that I have worked therapeutically with people one-on-one. It's something that I really love to do. And if that opportunity arises again, I'm happy to do that. I'll be happy to offer that service. And, I will say also, too, that I've come to the place with no expectation. However, I have desire. I still have desire. I'm still a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm still very human in a lot of ways. And so my desire would be to work with people on one-on-one, and to empower them. And I mentioned empowerment also in my last video. So what that means to me is to help someone to realize that really the power that we're seeking is ironically all already within us. So everything that we're seeking is already within us. And that's the paradox, because again, we're conditioned in our society to be judgmental, to compare ourselves, and to be constantly looking outside of ourselves for everything, for friendship, love, companionship, and that list goes on and on too. So again, when we develop this relationship with ourselves, we don't have to go out seeking outside of ourselves. We can get everything that we need from within. And so that is basically what I wanted to share for right now. And I think that covers quite a few areas, but I did want to really emphasize relationships, especially relationships with ourselves and others. And again, really bring home that forgiveness begins with ourselves first. And when we do practice forgiveness on ourselves, which I do every day, and I've been doing for several months, and not so every day, but several years off and on, so for several years, but lately several months every day, practicing forgiveness on myself and with others, it's a really beautiful thing because it just kind of takes a weight off your shoulders, and you can actually feel emotionally and even physically lighter. So, it really does, it works. And, there's one thing they say that I love is a quote, not necessarily a quote, but something I heard one time is, why can angels fly? Because they take themselves lightly. And that's great. Taking ourselves too serious is something else that we learn in this society. It's a learned behavior. So just be gentle with yourself. And thank you for listening. Namaste. Much love. All for now. Bye bye.